Well, I have Janessa.
Yes. Is there a reason? Good. Ebron. Yeah, I'm all right. Oh, happy Ebron. Yeah.
If I had this,
Ebron. I have to do that.
you stay on. Good evening. Good evening. We will call to order the City of Rockford's regularly scheduled City Council meeting for Monday, August 3rd, 2026. This evening, we are fortunate that we have Pastor Norma Barrero of Glory to Glory International Ministries with us to provide us with an invocation. I think we are lucky to have Norma Barrero. Not seeing Norma with us, Alderwoman Trina, would you be willing to provide us with an invocation? And give me 1 second. There you go.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for the privilege it is to serve this community. We just ask that you preside in these chambers tonight, give us wisdom and insight to make the best decisions possible for our city. And God, we always submit our first responders to you to keep them safe as they protect our city. And we just ask for your blessing and safety in our chamber this evening. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Alderman Durkee.
Here.
Wilkeman.
Here.
Toomber.
Here.
Frost.
Here.
Tarina.
Here.
Prunty. Here. Neal.
Here.
Hoffman.
Here.
Granite.
Here.
Beach.
Here.
Salgado.
Present.
Meeks. Here. Bell.
Present.
Bonnie.
Here.
14 present.
Excellent. We have a quorum this evening. Next, is there a motion to approve the Journal of Proceedings for the City Council meeting held on April 20th, 2026? Second. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Next, is there a motion to approve the Journal of Proceedings for the City Council meeting held on May 18th, 2026? We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Excellent. Next, is there a motion to approve the Journal of Proceedings for the special City Council meeting held on July 13th, 2026? We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Excellent. Next, we have one proclamation this evening. Our proclamation this evening is for National Night Out, and we have the chief and a number of the members of the Rockford Police Department with us. Yes, now that you're next to me, you got to speak now. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Now you really got to speak. Whereas the National Association of Town Watch is sponsoring a unique nationwide crime, drug, violence prevention program on August 4th, 2026, entitled National Night Out. And whereas the 43rd Annual National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for Rockford to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative police community crime prevention efforts. And whereas the Rockford City Council plays a vital role in assisting the City of Rockford Police Department through joint crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in the City of Rockford, and is supporting the National Night Out 2026 locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of Rockford be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and impact that their participation can have in reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Rockford. And whereas it is essential that all neighbors of Rockford come together with police and work together to build a safer, more caring community. Now, therefore, I, Thomas P. McNamara, as the mayor of the City of Rockford, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 4th, 2026, to be National Night Out. I was joking with you a little bit that you have to speak, but I am serious, you do. And I just want to say on behalf of City Council and the community, thank you for the incredible amount of work that you have been doing, but that also you put into National Night Out. So I'd love you to share a few words about it.
Thank you for approving our budget. And I definitely utilized it this year. I won't tell you what all was going to be there because we have an interview in the morning. That's when I'll let you know. But we have a lot of stuff for the kids, a lot of raffles, bikes, scooters, great food. It's always free. So come on out, 5 to 8, downtown at City Market Pavilion.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. It is a great event. It's tomorrow night, 5 to 8 p.m. at the City Market Pavilion. Lots of different activities for the entire family. It's a completely free event. Just urge everyone to come on out and enjoy the event with all of Rockford. Now, we have a packed house this evening because we have an actual aerial presentation. So Director Haggerty and Jennifer, thank you both for being here, and thank you for the work that you do, and look forward to hearing the presentation.
Absolutely. Jen Turk is a representative from Nyhart, which is the city's hired actuarial consultant. Jen has been working with the city for quite some time now, and I'm sure you all remember her from the last few presentations that have been provided. So I'm going to hand it over to Jen to walk through this. I'll drive the presentation if you want.
That sounds good.
But certainly, please feel free to hop in with questions, and either Jen or I will answer those.
Okay. Is this working? That sounds good?
Yep, you're good.
So we just want to give a quick overview of where the pension for the police and fire pension has been at 2026. So we do an annual valuation as of January 1st of each year. And so just a couple of highlights that we wanted to share. Assets, as everyone knows, has been performing wonderful. So we had about a 17% return on the trust for both plans. For the purpose of making the contribution, we come up with a smoothed value of assets. That's that actuarial value. And both of those came in above the 7.1% that we kind of expect. But it's kind of muted because you only recognize a portion of that big investment return each year. So we'll get, each year we'll have that kind of gain that's sitting out there from that 17% that got earned. For the counts, kind of the census, the people in the plan, counts went up a little bit both for police and for fire. People are living longer than expected, so you have some new hires come in, some people retire and they're living longer, so the counts lately have been kind of increasing because of that. On the kind of salary increases is another big driver of a lot of these numbers. So on the fire side, they were a little lower than expected. I think there was still some contract negotiations maybe going on. And then the police actually came in a little higher than expected. So then the police pension, it was kind of muted the gains that you make on the funded percentage. So, and the police side also had a few earlier than expected retirements. So anytime you have someone retire between 50 and 55, it tends to, kind of increase the liability a little more because they're getting, the full year of COLAs. So then you can see on the kind of current year section, it shows that the funding percentage, they did come up for the fire. Fire is up to just under 43% now. And again, the increase in the police plan was a little muted because of those salary increases. So that's up to about 50.6% funded on the police side. The contributions did go up from last year, and mainly that was due to we are lowering the payroll growth assumption, and that's kind of used to set the contribution for how fast we want it to grow. And so we try and have it grow as a percentage of payroll and keep it kind of, steady related to that. But we've been each year trying to step that back to be a little bit more reasonable, closer to what the consolidated funds are using, which is more like 3%. So we step that down again. That kind of increases the contributions in the near term, but in the long term, we'll see that they kind of, it'll keep it from increasing in as much through 2040. So we keep reviewing that payroll growth assumption, and then just a few notes on the new experience studies that are coming out for the consolidated funds. So we'll look at that. This first has a lot of numbers. It's just kind of a snapshot of what the counts for everyone. So at the top, those term vested counts, those are almost all of those are people who are still due a refund, who have left the city but are due their employee contributions. And then there's a handful of people who have a pension that they can start later. The active count, you can see, went up a few bodies on both sides, about 10 each. So that kind of drives some of the contributions increases as well, just having more bodies in the system that are getting paid for. Everything else at the bottom stayed pretty consistent. We always expect the kind of the blue, those in-pay averages. Everyone gets COLAs each year, so we kind of expect, you know, that monthly pension to go up. And then you can see the actives have been staying fairly steady as, you know, older retirees go out and then new, you know, young cadets come in. So everything stayed fairly as expected on the census, the demographics. So this is kind of, I don't know, fun for me to look at, maybe not other people, but so this is showing kind of what this impact of that smoothing those assets. So you can see the red line, this is the market value, so that's what the bank actually earned each year. And you can see it's very volatile, up and down. But we don't want the contributions to kind of be bouncing up and down at the whim of the market. So we gradually recognize any gains or losses. And so that's that black line kind of shows, it's still kind of got peaks and valleys, but it really smooths it out. So in the long run, we expect those two values to be equal. If you know, go out 10, 20 years, we expect they would be the same. But yeah, to smooth out kind of the ups and downs each year, we use that smooth value. And then the next is just instead of looking at rates of return for the two, it's just looking at the dollar values. So right now, the money in the bank is a lot higher because they had that huge 17% gain. And we've actually run a couple of years here with great returns. So right now, since we haven't recognized all those great returns yet, the smoothed value right now is coming in a little below what's actually in the bank. So. All right, so a lot of numbers on this page. I'll give you like the key. So that first column of numbers, that's from the prior year valuation, and that actually determines what the city is putting in for 2026 here, this calendar year. So you can see kind of the funding percentage. This is for fire. Last year it was at 42.5%, kind of right in the middle of the page. So that's come up a little bit to that just under 44. The contribution last year, which is being made this fiscal year, was 21.6 million about. And then you can see that second column, that's if we wouldn't have adjusted that payroll growth assumption. And everything stays the same. The liabilities, the normal costs, that's what people are earning each year. So that all stays the same. It's just that amortization piece. And it's basically, instead of like a mortgage where you have just a flat dollar amount, this amortization is going to be gradually increasing each year. And so we kind of expect that the contribution will go up, around 4% each year is kind of our ballpark, and now we'll be at that 3.75 instead. So it won't be as steep of an increase. It increases a little bit in the short term, but in the long run, we'll see how it kind of dampens it. So I think the next. Yeah, so similar story with the police. You can see that funded percentage didn't go up as much, and that was because of those kind of liability hits that they took. And then down at the bottom, you can see we went from about 18.2 million for the 2026 fiscal year up to about 19.7 that we're projecting for the 2027 contribution. And then this is just a kind of a projection of where the plan is expected to head in the future. So this blue line is where we're at right now. So that's using that 3.75% payroll growth. So that is a little steeper. It ends up, over $44.4 million at the end of when we get close to that 2040 kind of target. And as you lower that payroll growth, it just kind of flattens it out a little bit. So in the long run, you don't get quite as steep an increase at the end. So, but it's always kind of a pay now, pay later eventually the benefits have to get paid for. So, so that's the fire, and then similar projections for the police plan. You can see it kind of levels out at 40.7 if we don't change that payroll growth, and then doesn't get quite as high, so about 39 million at the end of the projection there. And then once you get to 90% funded, then you're just kind of paying for what people are earning each year. That's the goal, hopefully, someday. And then a lot of words, I'll leave it for you guys to read the details. Basically, the big, the statewide consolidated fund puts out an experience study periodically. And so they plan to do it, I think, every 4 or 5 years right now. So the new ones are just kind of coming out. So the fire, that one had been approved, I think, and finalized. The police, I think they were going to talk about it at the meeting last week, but I haven't heard the outcome. So they're reviewing their experience study currently. So we're kind of waiting until the police one gets approved and finalized before we start implementing changes for those. So we'll probably start talking about those for the next valuation. And in general, both plans, we see a little bit of an increase for the employees, both on their liability and their normal costs, which is, the cost of them earning benefits each year. So we're seeing a little bit of an increase on both. So we'll start looking at those in more detail probably next year. That's just legalese. That's what the contributions are right now. And more legalese, I think, is left.
Yes.
So I know that was quick and dirty. Any questions?
Thank you. Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a quick question. In demographic, we're basically almost a 1-to-1 ratio of actives and retirees. So we're stressed.
It's getting there,
And from this last page, with the high retirement rates, have you projected out when we'd be basically under 1-to-1?
So we're hoping it stays pretty stable since you guys are kind of a mature plan. But it's something that we monitor each year. And once you get, especially when I have plans that are 70% inactives and retirees, and that makes it really hard to kind of catch up. If you're, only contributing on active employees, it makes it harder to keep up. So it's not, I'm not too worried yet about the 50%, but we monitor it.
So do you then, let's say next year, if you start seeing this, would you advise an accelerator type plan to get us by 2040?
I think the city has been making an additional contribution. At least last year, they made an extra $1 million to each plan, I believe. So that helps, but I'm hoping that the new assumptions kind of help too. We're seeing people retire earlier than expected under what they're using right now, so I'm hoping that'll fix a little bit to kind of smooth out the liabilities, because it seems like every year the last few years we've had more retirements than would have been expected. So hopefully that'll help make it more realistic each year.
We've been at about a 50-50 ratio for quite some time, so yeah.
Other questions? Alderman Frost.
With respect to the police and fire evaluation, kind of like income statements, under expenses, it looks like it's about $170,000 per plan. Are those fees for the what make up the expenses?
Yeah, sure. So that is that's a variety of things. It's administrative fees paid to the consolidated funds, the cost to manage the funds. It's also costs associated with conducting disability hearings. There's a prescribed process in state statute that involves multiple medical opinions that can be very costly to the plans, but that is the process that the boards are required to follow under state statute. And then just administrative cost of running payroll, yes, auditor, audit expenses, things of that nature.
But is
the bulk of it is investment.
It's the investment fee.
Yes.
Is that it's in the plan now run by the state, correct?
Correct, and the fees are less than they were when we were managing it locally.
So that's the state statute governs that, and that's that we pay
Correct.
based on what they tell us.
Yes.
Okay, thank
For the
you.
most part,
Alderman Beach.
Thank you, Your Honor. Most of the council members here have heard what I'm about to say again, but I'm going to say it again every chance I get. First of all, thank you for these numbers, and your investments are good. We appreciate that. The other side of the ledger is how we pay for them. And we need to understand, again, that perhaps within 3 years, every dollar that this city collects in personal property tax, that's about the 18% of your bill, will go to pay this pension, police and fire, which essentially leaves nothing left to operate the rest of the city.
Correct.
And so I think that while this may or may not be the place to say it, I feel in my heart we have to say it over and over and over till it sinks in, is that it's going to run out. And we have tried our best to absorb these losses that we've got, because we have to pay them from something. And our rainy day fund has dropped from 6 months reserve to 3 months reserve to a little less than 3 months reserve. And so it's just in front of us, and what an ideal time to talk about it. We're talking about great investments. But we have a problem here that we need to deal with, and I just wanted to make those comments, not to upset anyone, but reality is reality. And while the extra $1 million that we're paying each year as like a pay down is wonderful, but Financial Director, what is our total unfunded liability between police and fire? Is that 300 million?
No, it's more than that. If you look at pages 6 and 7 in the presentation, the unfunded liability is listed in this sort of second set of numbers there. On the police side, it's 236 million.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
And on the fire side, it's 254 million. So we're just under 500 million in unfunded liability.
What does that number mean to us as taxpayers going forward?
Sure.
In order to get well.
Yeah. So when Jen talks about amortization, that is the number that we're amortizing between now and 2040. So we have to reach 90% funded. So we have to cover 90% of that unfunded liability between now and 2040, which is why you can see in the projection, the graph, you can see those contributions rising pretty dramatically, to 40 million per plan. Because we have a statutory obligation to pay effectively 90% of that number by 2040. Now, as looking at things like assumptions, at what age do people retire? At what age do retirees pass away? Are they married? What our disability numbers look like? All of those can change that unfunded liability over time as well. So if we have earlier retirements and people drawing benefits sooner, that increases the liability long term because we're paying that person more over time. So that number is something that changes every year, ultimately, as we look at what actually transpired in the fund, and we look at the assumptions that are being provided by things like experience studies that guide us in those assumptions moving forward. So this is a snapshot based on the assumptions that we have that we applied to the actual plan experience, but that number can change and grow over time. So effectively, when we go through this process every year, Jen tells us based on what happened last year, this is the plan to get to 90% funded by 2040, and we revise that plan every year based on what happens. But that does mean that we have almost $500,000 that needs to be paid by property taxes as the primary funding source, but when property taxes aren't enough, then we pull from other revenue sources that the city has available to make that pension payment on an annual basis. And when you look at revenue growth in the 2 to 3% range, which is what we've seen historically, and pension expense growth in the 7 to 8% annual growth range, the pensions continue to absorb money that would otherwise, or revenue that would otherwise be able to be used to provide direct services today. And that problem is going to just grow as we get closer and closer to 2040.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Other questions? Alderwoman Prunty.
Thank you. You mentioned statutorily, and I guess I think we heard something around this body before as it relates to our efforts to change that. Excuse me. What would you recommend that we be asking for from our legislators?
That is an excellent question. I think that the problem for a city like Rockford, who does not have home rule revenue raising authority, is particularly challenging. I know there are home rule communities who imposed new taxes to supplement property taxes to be able to meet these obligations. To me, this is a revenue problem. And in no operating environment would you have an expense of $80 million that then drops in the net. We're trying to match revenue and expense, and really our efforts are incremental. We want incremental growth in revenue and incremental growth in expense so that taxpayers don't carry an undue burden in any one year. But you can see 2040 is going to be a significant burden in the years leading up to it, which then drops dramatically in the year following. And how do we fund that obligation in a way that makes sense for our taxpayers and what they can afford, while still meeting our obligation to the pensioners who have earned a benefit that is guaranteed, that they've earned it, they deserve to receive the benefits that they were hired under. But how do we structure a plan that not only allows us to meet those obligations in the long term, but also is structured in a way that taxpayers can afford? That is the question, that's the struggle, right? Mm-hmm. The last iteration, or the last revision to this, was in 2013. The funding goal was 90% by 2030, and the state legislature pushed that out to 2040. There has been some discussion about pushing it out to 2050 and increasing the funded target to 100%. All that does is be inevitable ultimately. So while that would provide some short-term relief, it is still, we will still see that spike and drop. And to me, a funding mechanism that provides a level, predictably growing contribution amount that, 2040 is not, there's not some magic, something that's going to happen that will require us to have all that cash on hand on that date. Mm-hmm. It's a number that was pulled out of the air, right? So to me, more time, I think, would be helpful. But more revenue, other revenue sources as options to help make this obligation would also be helpful. And it needs to be a balance of both.
A balance. You said, I heard you use the words reduction in services.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I was signing paperwork.
No, you're fine.
You said this, I apologize.
Yeah.
But where do you see those reductions potentially, where have they been in the past, and where do you see them potentially?
Well, I'll say that historically, we have reduced staff, we've reduced, services provided to the community in budget reduction time period. These are decisions that are made every year to balance a budget. And, I know we had a couple of years of surpluses, but for 20 years prior, we had deficits going into every budget process that I've been a part of. So, we're saying no to opportunities to expand or implement new programs But we have also in years said, we're not going to fill those positions, or we're going to forego that capital project. I mean, for over a decade, we didn't replace vehicles or improve our buildings because we were making pension obligation, making that pension obligation on an annual basis. So, that is not sustainable long term, and we have found new revenue sources to help reinstitute vehicle replacements and investment in our facilities, but those options are few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Alderman Salgado?
Thank you, Mayor. Just real quick, Carrie, is there a chart that you guys have for the liability, how it's trended throughout the years?
Historical, yeah, we can provide that information.
And
you're talking about the unfunded liability, how
Yes.
that's grown? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And to what level, based on, I know we said that we've been given about $1 million or so in paying down some of that. So just wanted to see, based on the percentage of our rate of return versus essentially the cost of it keep going up, essentially.
Yeah, so we can do, Jen provides us with a projection tool that we can sort of show if we don't make that million. So just to remind everyone, when council approved the casino, the gaming revenue policy, that included $1 million to each fund, contributed on top of the minimum required contribution, with the express intent of paying down that unfunded liability. That earns the 17%, that $1 million earned 17% last year. So certainly investing more today is going to help reduce the unfunded liability over the long run. But I can put together a model that shows if we continue to make that $1 million contribution, how does that change the trajectory versus if we don't? We can show that.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Prunty?
You said that one of the services that not that we had to cut because of this, but one of the services that kind of went without was the replacement of vehicles.
Yeah.
Were those the replacement, was that across the board? Was that specifically police and fire?
That was across the board. For probably, it was probably close to 10 years we did not. I mean, unless we bought some used fire trucks because we had fire trucks that weren't able to be repaired any longer. Some of you in the room might remember the Rainbow Fleet days because we had a hodgepodge of vehicles that we bought from other fire departments just to keep rigs in operation or keep, the fire department operating. And we would occasionally, we might get a grant and replace a vehicle or something along those lines, but it was across the organization, a policy of not replacing capital unless it was an emergency.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
See you later.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going to go to petitions and communications, and we will begin with Planning and Development Committee and Alderwoman Neal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 1 is a memorandum from Todd Cagnoni, City Administrator, regarding a proposed funding of $300,000 to support the establishment of a senior center in partnership with Living Well Center of Northern Illinois, located at 1111 South Alpine Road, referred to Planning and Development Committee. Item 2 is a memorandum from Timothy Hinkins, City Engineer, regarding a grant award acceptance of the IEPA EGO Beverly Floodplain Reconnection, referred to Planning and Development Committee. Item 3 is a memorandum from Tim Hinkins, City Engineer, regarding a grant award acceptance of the R1PC STBG Harrison Avenue Reconstruction, referred to Planning and Development Committee. Item 4 is a memorandum from Timothy Hinkins, City Engineer, regarding a grant award acceptance for the R1PC TAP High Crest MUP, MUP, referred to Planning and Development Committee. Item 5 is a memorandum from Todd Cagnoni, City Administrator, regarding amendments to the Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, doing business as Go Rockford, contract for service agreement and lease, referred to Planning and Development Committee.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Code and Regulation Committee and Alderman Logeman.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 3 items. Item number 1, memorandum from Rudy Moreno, Historic Preservation Commission Secretary, regarding a proposed landmark designation for 1202 Eddy Avenue, referred to Code and Regulation Committee. Item number 2, memorandum from Joshua Verslaes, Assistant City Attorney, regarding the annexation of 14XX Export Road, 34XX Export Road, and 36XX Prairie Road, referred to Code and Regulation Committee. Item number 3, memorandum from Joshua Verslaes, Assistant City Attorney, regarding the annexation agreement of 14XX Export Road, 34XX Export Road, and 36XX Prairie Road, referred to Code and Regulation Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Finance and Personnel Committee and Alderman Frost.
Thank you, Your Honor. Number 1 is a memorandum from Anna Carlson regarding an application approval and award acceptance of the Illinois Department of Commerce Economic Opportunity State Designated Cultural District Grant Award. And all these matters, by the way, will be referred to Finance and Personnel Committee. Number 2 is a memorandum from Jennifer Cachapalia regarding the approval of a grant-funded subrecipient agreement with Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office. Number 3 is a memorandum from Jennifer Cachapalia regarding approval of a grant-funded subrecipient agreement with Winnebago County Adult Probation. Number 4 is a memorandum from Todd Cagnoni regarding authorization of funding for concrete improvements at BMO Center in the amount of $1,152,116.20. And 5 is a memorandum from Todd Cagnoni regarding the approval of a resolution declaring intent to form the Rockford Regional Tourism Improvement District, fixing the time and place of a public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move to our public speakers. I want to remind our public speakers that there's a microphone on the back right as well as the back left of council chambers. You'll have 3 minutes to address the city council. At the time that the 3 minutes have expired, I'll ask you to close up your comments. Our first public speaker this evening is John Tack Brantley.
Good evening, Mayor and Acting Mayor, all the citizens of Rockford. First, I want to congratulate you on your new position that you leaving. I want to spit a little history. I started speaking in 2009. And then during the election, we only had 16% of the people that voted. We had 38.51% Democratic, 20.7% Republican. We had 41.32 Independent, and we have over 80,000 registered voters. We had 3,445 African Americans that voted. We had little over 14,000 African Americans that did not vote. Coming November, it's very important that we get out and vote. I'm working on building a voting slot, and I'm definitely going after those 14,000 African Americans that's not registered to vote. We have over 77.7% African Americans in Illinois registered to vote. We have 77.5%. We make up over 2% of the most elected people that's registered to vote. I had a meeting last week with the fire district. We working on getting a monument out at Camp Grant. I also met with the librarian. I see the director for the librarian is here. I talked with the youth at the library. What we want to do is in middle school, high school, and elementary school, we're going to have them to draw a picture. Whichever picture that wins, that's the picture we're going to use to build a monument at Camp Grant. A lot of people do not aware that Camp Grant was founded by the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers, 4 movies came out of the Buffalo Soldiers. One of the movies of the Buffalo Soldiers was when they went and captured Geronimo. Geronimo said it best. He said, why should we trust the white man? The white man made us many promises, but we only kept one. He promised to take our land, and he took it. They also made another movie from the Buffalo Soldiers and the women that were at Camp Grant. It came out 3 years ago. The women that was working at the mail room in Germany and other places, they made a movie from. We also made a movie of Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider. Charles Young was one of the main leaders that rescued Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt. One of the 3 things that stick out the most at Camp Grant, it was owned by the military all the way up to 1949. Back in 1917, 4,000 African-American Buffalo soldiers had the Spanish flu. 1,000 died from the Spanish flu. We had over 2,500 German and Italian POWs at Camp Grant. They got treated better than the Buffalo soldiers. By you, for example, they got steak and potatoes. Our Buffalo soldiers got peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Right now, as we speak, Donald Trump is going out his way to eliminate our history. It's up to us to teach our history. And Camp Grant was the third body.
Thank you, Mr. Brantley. Thank you.
Illinois.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
Our next public speaker this evening is Julia Seidlinger. Look at that, Julia.
Greetings and salutations. I could use my time today to stress the water waste, the light pollution, the energy consumption, the long-term human health concerns, or the that will be heard through no matter where you live in the city. All of these very critical issues affect every person, rich or poor. However, I will let others argue them. Today, I will discuss the abysmal job opportunities data centers create. I have researched nonpartisan news sources and peer-reviewed research papers regarding the economic job opportunities of data centers. Employment uncertainty and labor in data centers, Orchid Icon. At Data Center Trade Show, the authors of this research paper held both public and private declarations of uncertainty around data center labor. Data centers are looking for specific roles, such as lead engineering. This means 6+ years of experience, plus a bachelor's and a master's degree. What will the city do to ensure that the people living here would fit these specific criteria and the diversity of the education for this? Will there be scholarships? Or will the center bring in outside workers? This will defeat one of the main reasons the center is being built. Regardless, the data centers are also trying to minimize the number of people working by a person who needs to be able to do it all. From IT work, to replacing memory, to fixing a diesel engine, to fixing a toilet. This does not sound like the job growth the city needs if the center wants one person to do 4 people's jobs. Ehab Tarizi, Chief Technology Officer at Dell Computing, is pushing for more automated run data centers where human may occasionally remote in, patch something. This does not seem like the long-term job sustainability as more data centers are pushing to be automated, which in 2021 was 40%. That percentage has increased over the years, with many of the large corporations pushing for 100. These remote workers do not have to be Winnebago residents or even a US resident. These same companies have been working quietly and secretly on new technologies to replace skilled humans altogether. Delfonte and Frey, 2021. Data center leaders crow that the automated infrastructure with remote monitoring and alerts will permit even fewer people to remotely operate the entire industry. Bannerman, 2020. This is all considering that AI will become profitable. At current, Google is pouring all their money into it without seeing any capital return. 277 billion loss and only 25 billion gain. Amazon lost roughly 331 billion, recuperating only 0.07% back. At present, even if the data centers were built, there is little prospect that it will operate in the future. It is strange to me that the city is willing to make its citizens pay more in utility to cover the data center than the city will be making from it itself, especially when that increase in the utility bill could be the difference in some being able to afford their groceries or rent.
Thank you. Our next public speaker this evening is Eve Kirk.
Thank you, Mayor, and people on the City Council. I realize that in our city, almost all the time, the mayor, the aldermen, and the employees of the city know about customer service, because the residents who rent or own a home pay for these services through taxes. And we had a door hanger on our neighborhood, which is the 700 block of North Rockford Avenue, about the capital improvement program. And I wish it had had some details, but it didn't have details. It was, I would say, more like a victory lap that the city was doing this for us. and, but very sketchy information about specific things they would do in our neighborhood. And I came home on July 10th to some tank-like machine running up our street and taking these huge slabs off and throwing them into dump trucks. We were not prepared for this. They took flowers, perennial flowers for 20 years from my garden. They put cracks in the frontage sidewalks of property owners. When they use this claw thing and to our trees to take down branches and dig at the roots of mature trees. They littered with bottles of water bottles and cans and that crime tape, whatever, which of course that's not fatal, but it was an indication that they didn't really respect our neighborhood or the people in it. So I have some suggestions. If the city would next time clearly state what project is going to happen on your street, that would be very helpful. And some tips to tell us what we could do to prepare for that. Not just, well, you might have to park somewhere else, particularly since most of the cars in the blocks were from the workers that were working there that day. If they would say that, well, no, you really don't own the 15 inches to the inside of the sidewalk that you think is yours, it's not. It's for the city to be able to drill deep trenches. We didn't know that. We would have dug things up and that would have been useful. It would be nice if the city could use their garbage and water database with phones and emails to give us 24 hours notice. I realize that would take time to prepare, but they could. And finally, if you would write contracts that have customer service as the first thing.
Thank you, Ms. Kirk. Appreciate it. Our next public speaker this evening is Denzel Winter. Is Denzel Winter with us? We can come back to him. Next is Prophet Yusuf.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In the book of Romans, the 12th chapter, the 2nd verse, it says, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What I want to speak about tonight, how to reduce the truancy rate, the dropout rate in Rockford schools. The Navy discovered March the 29th, 1954, why young men drop out of school and join the Navy. They came up with 12 reasons why. And if you eliminate these 12 reasons, you can reduce the dropout rate, increase the graduation rate, and reduce the crime rate at the same time, because education and crime is correlated. The first reason was poverty. The second reason was homelessness. The third reason was alcohol abuse at home. The fourth reason was children who had to work and go to school. The fifth reason, single parent home. The sixth reason, high mobility rate. The seventh reason, parents who hold multiple jobs. The eighth reason, a lack of affordable transportation. And children who had to walk long distance to school. The ninth reason, children who had parents who didn't value education. The 10th reason, domestic violence in the home. The 11th reason, children drop out to take care of parents who had physical and mental illness. The 12th reason, school climate issues such as school size and attitudes of teachers. Other students who were bullies and peer pressure. If you eliminate these 12 things, I guarantee you can reduce truancy rate, the dropout rate, the hunger rate, the poverty rate, the homeless rate, the delinquency rate, and increase the high school and college graduation rate, and students would be productive citizens in Rockford. I'm glad you are here, Ms. Van Lynch. I've been wanting to tell you this for a long time, and I'm going to get it off my chest tonight. I don't like Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to my good friend. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Is Denzel Winter with us? Denzel Winter? Okay, next we'll move on to our new committee reports. We have nothing under planning and development. So we'll go to Code and Regulation Committee and Alderman Logeman.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 12 items in front of us. Item number 1, committee recommends sustaining the Traffic Commission's approval to establish a restriction requiring that traffic on Calderwood Drive be required to stop prior to entering the intersection with Palo Verde Drive, thus repealing the existing traffic control of Calderwood Drive, yielding for Palo Verde Drive. Item number 2, committee recommends sustaining the Traffic Commission's recommendation of no action be taken on the request for additional streetlights at 1640 Albany Lane. Item number 3, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals approval for a special use permit for 6 residential units on the ground floor in a C4 urban mixed-use zoning district at 134 North Main Street, subject to conditions. Item number 4, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals approval for a special use permit for residential units on the ground floor in a C4 urban mixed-use zoning district at 325 South Madison Street, subject to conditions. Item number 5, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals denial for a variation to reduce the side yard setback for a covered patio from 6 feet to 0 feet in an R1 single-family residential zoning district at 1232 Soper Avenue. Item number 6, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals approval for a special use permit for body art services in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 210 North Longwood Street, subject to conditions. Item number 7, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals approval for a special use permit for a planned mixed-use development consisting of 10 apartments, a restaurant, and a banquet hall in an R2 two-family residential zoning district at 219 South 2nd Street, subject to conditions. Item number 8, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals approval for a special use permit for body art services in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1010 East State Street, subject to conditions. Item number 9, committee recommends sustaining a Zoning Board of Appeals approval for a zoning map amendment from R1 single-family zoning residential zoning district to C3 general commercial zoning district at 3218 11th Street, subject to conditions. Item number 10, committee recommends denial of a variation to increase the maximum allowed business identification wall signs from 2 to 3 in a C3 general commercial zoning district at 3218 11th Street, thus reversing the Zoning Board of Appeals approval. Item number 11, committee recommends sustaining the Zoning Board of Appeals approval of the following text amendments to the City of Rockford zoning ordinances. 11A, Table 20-1, Use of Classification Table. 11B, Article 20-005, Lot Area per Dwelling Unit. 11C, Article 20-005-Z, Rear Setbacks. 11D, Table 21-1, Use Classification Table. 11E, Article 30, Mandatory Planned Unit Developments. Article 11F, Article 35, Infill Overlay District. Item 11G, Article 50-003, Off-Street Parking Ratios. Item 11H, Article 50-016, Access Location, and Article 80-003, Non-Conforming Uses. And item 11I, Continuance of Non-Conforming Uses. And finally, item number 12, committee recommends sustaining the Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board's approval for a modification of an existing liquor license to add packaged liquor sales in conjunction with a restaurant in a C3 General Commercial Zoning District at 1603 North Alpine Road, subject to conditions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Council, we have 12 items before us. Is there any discussion on those 12 items? Alderman Frost.
Thank you. With respect to number 10, Your Honor, I move to reverse the committee report to approve the variation to increase the maximum allowed business identification wall signs from 2 to 3 in a C3 General Commercial Zoning District at 3218 11th Street.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Excellent. Motion, or the amendment has been approved. Now, Council, we have 12 items before us, with item 10 being amended. Is there any discussion? Alderwoman Meeks.
Thank you so much. I just have a question on item number 11, E, Article 30, the mandatory planned unit developments. And I think I'll direct it to Administrator Cagnoni. I'm just curious if under 30-004, is this an area where a data center information could be included and a mandatory PUD would be required?
Director Lies or Mr. Cagnoni?
I'm going to pull the.
I have the, what it's intended to do, and then you could answer.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so the amendment that we're submitting, or the text change revision that we're submitting to you, is intended to encourage more development by allowing a developer in the different classifications to do more units before they're required to get a PUD. So it's really focused on residential. So it's looking at the different types, the single family, the townhome, and the multifamily.
Yeah, I should have clarified that I do understand what we are voting for. I was just asking just a general question.
Okay.
If this could be an area where it could be included. I've been previously looking into the industrial, Article 23, but I'm just asking just a general question. Could the direction be more directed to Article 30 and adding directly and identifying the hyperscale data center?
So Article 30 in general includes a number of uses that are non-residential. So in theory, that could be one area in which a data center could be regulated in the future by requiring it to be a mandatory planned unit development. It's not the portion that we advertised, but yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the 12 items with item 10 being amended? Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Torina. Prunty. Neal. Hoffman. Granite. Beach. Salgado. Meeks.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
No on 10 and 11A. Aye, Russ.
Items 1 through 9, 14 ayes. Item 10, 13 ayes, 1 no. Item 11A, 13 ayes, 1 no. And item 12, 14 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Finance and Personnel Committee and Alderman Frost.
Thank you, Your Honor. Number one, the committee recommends approval of vouchers in the amount of $9,205,558.55 as approved at the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting held on July 27, 2026. Number two, the committee recommends approval of the State Line Area Narcotics Team Intra-Agency Agreement. Number three, the committee recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing the city to utilize funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program at the IEPA and application of loan for lead service line replacements. I place these three matters before you.
Thank you. Council, there's 3 items before you. Is there any discussion on those 3 items? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Torina. Prunty. Neal. Hoffman. Granite. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 14 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to unfinished business and go to Planning and Development Committee and Alderwoman Neal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 1, committee recommends approval of the proposed funding agreement with Goodwill in partnership with IBEW Local 364 for Electrical Workers Trades Program to better prepare individuals for IBEW application process in the amount of $85,172. The funding source is casino funds.
Thank you. Council, is there any discussion on the 1 item before you? Alderwoman Prunty.
I did receive a request from a viewer that they're struggling to hear us again.
Okay, I would just suggest folks speak into the microphones. I notice it's a little bit better when department heads are speaking. We're still calibrating all of the volumes, but I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to, since this was laid over, again reiterate my opposition to this. This program is short-lived. It's limited in scope. It's not as comprehensive with what currently exists at Rock Valley College. In addition, Rock Valley College has a feeder program for those students leaving high school who may not qualify for the trades program. So I see this as redundant. I think a better use of the money actually would be to give it to Rock Valley College and increase the robustness of that program. That program is about 14 weeks. It's 450 hours. It's free. Anybody could attend. They have a great success rate. I've talked with the trades. They're not popping champagne over passage of this one. They're a little bit indifferent. And so I would think a better use of this money is to contribute it to an existing, far more robust program rather than getting scattered all over the place with these different trades programs. So that is why I'm opposed to this.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Alderwoman Prunty.
Are you planning to ask for an amendment?
I am not.
Is the first ward alderperson planning, is saying that he is intending to ask for an amendment or just voting no?
No, I would just, you would have to be cribbed, and I didn't do that, and I just was going to just an up or down vote.
Yes, okay. And then could the first ward alderman tell us where that Rock Valley program is offered? Is it offered in Rockford?
Alderman Durkee, where's that program offered?
It is offered in Rockford. There's 2 start times. It's spring, I believe, and winter. So they have 2 classes a year that are progressing through the program.
Thank you. Other discussion? Alderwoman Meeks.
I'm not positive, but I believe that the location is the Samuelson RVC location, unless I'm wrong about that. That's where I remember it being in the past.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Alderwoman Prunty.
Is the Samuelson location now the quad?
I believe it is. I'm not the one offering those suggestions. So, I mean, I would, yeah. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. No. Logeman. Aye. Toomberg. No. Frost. No. Torina. Aye. Prunty.
No.
Neal.
Aye.
Hoffman.
Aye.
Granith.
Aye.
Beach.
No.
Salgado.
Aye.
Meeks.
No.
Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
Aye.
8 ayes, 6 noes.
Thank you. Next, we have officers' reports. Any council member have a report? Alderwoman Granith.
I'm having a ward meeting on August 12th at Good Shepherd Lutheran at 5:30. Chief Tayo will be there. Director Sanders will be there. We have a new community officer, Diego, will be there, and a new Rock House officer, Officer Mitchell Parker. And so we will have them speak, so it'll be a lot of information given. So please come on out and join us on the 12th of August.
What time was that at?
5:30.
5:30, August 12th. Thank you. There was hands. Alderman Logeman.
Real quick, I was told about a nonprofit scholarship group. I'm just going to read something from Auburn High School. It's a former Auburn secretary. We're a nonprofit group that raises funds to create and support a scholarship in honor of Carol McFagan, a beloved school secretary at Auburn High School who was lost to domestic violence in 2009. We want Carol's compassion and service to students and staff to be remembered always. Therefore, we're establishing a scholarship that will be awarded annually to an Auburn student who demonstrates the kindness and service that Carol showed throughout her life. I'm sure maybe April or Dawn knew Carol very well. I did not know her at Auburn, but I still hear stories about Carol at Auburn. I'm sure she was just a tremendous lady, but if there's anybody in the public who want to donate to this scholarship fund, you can just, it's a Google site, but if you just Google Carol's Kindness Auburn High School, you'll be able to find it. I know it's always a big drive at Auburn to support kindness and service, something I think all of us can kind of agree that's pretty important in society today. And I'll email this information to all the aldermen too. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Other reports of council members. Alderwoman Tarina.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have a couple community announcements as well. First, all of my council mates should have one of these on your desk. It is for Made for Rockford. There will be a new community member event happening at the Rockyard Music Fest, which occurs Friday, August 14th from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can come when you want and stay as long as you'd like. So it's like a new resident mixer. So if you're new to Rockford, have been in Rockford the past 3 years, we would love to see you there and meet you so that you could be a part of building community for yourself. And the other thing is I do have a 5th Ward meeting coming up. It is Saturday, September 4th at 9 a.m. Some of my residents aren't happy about that. I was like, you gotta get up. So again, Saturday, September 4th, 9 a.m., and it's going to be at Tinker Swiss Cottage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other reports. Alderwoman Prunty.
Okay, thank you. The next 6th Ward meeting will be Thursday, August 6th at 6 p.m. at House of God Church, which is located at 840 Brook Road. And our featured topic will be lead service line replacement program. So I'm really looking forward to that because Public Works is always wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other reports. Alderwoman Neal.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to remind everyone that although we did need to cancel the Southside 5th Annual Back to School Bash this past weekend due to weather, we will be announcing a rescheduled date for that here soon. So be on the lookout for that if you follow us on social media. Also in the ward this weekend, this coming Saturday, we have one of my favorite events that happens on an annual basis. It's the Right Way Teen Kickball for a Cause tournament that's happening this coming Saturday, August 8th. It starts at 12 p.m. I will be doing the opening kick, so hopefully I don't miss the ball during that, but come out and see and have some fun if you are free. Don't look at me like that. Thank you.
I think you should play the whole game, just saying, but.
I got bad knees.
Alderman Thunberg and then Alderwoman Prunty.
Thanks, Mayor. Vic Wilder and Jessica Anderson from Neighborhood Standards, thank you. Fantastic jobs that you've been helping me out with. I've had them on speed dial again pretty much for the last couple weeks. So thank you for all the work they do. Another great Rockford Boxing Classic. So I think it's one of the great events in Rockford, and did see a few people out there, and thank you for all those who helped put that together. Missed the police and fire match, though, at the end. So.
Alderwoman Prunty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to Alderman Logeman. Carol was a wonderful person. And to Alderman Thunberg, thank you for reminding me. I too have them on speed dial, so I appreciate Jessica and Vic and the code enforcement staff for taking care of things right away, including things that may not necessarily be in my ward, so I appreciate those of you who, if I reported something, don't get mad at me, I just saw it and it needed to be done. So Next, I also wanted to thank the community for coming out and supporting Booker Fest this past weekend. I had a great time. I gave away lots of seeds, so hopefully we will have numerous urban gardeners next season. Want to thank that committee, including Reverend Leon Smith and the staff at Booker for putting that together. It's always a nice time for food, family, and fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Other reports from council members? Thank you. Next, we will go to election. The election of alderperson to serve as acting mayor pursuant to 65 ILCS 5-3.1-10-50F. I am asking, and I sent all council members an email around 2:15, 2:45, somewhere in that pocket, asking if council would be willing to lay that item over. We have had a number of questions sent to us today from council members. We want to make sure that every council member understands the process, understands what we're voting on, and want to make sure that we get back to each one of you before that item comes before us. And so I would ask if you all are agreeable to that, that someone would make a motion for a 1-week layover. That then would allow, if you all and staff are ready, could have a special council meeting if needed on next Monday, because typically our layovers are 2 weeks and want to make sure that you have as much time as possible.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Alderwoman Prunty.
Was this, could we know some of the concerns? Was this concern identified by city's legal? Was this a legal concern? Are we in violation of the law, or?
Director Hammer?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm requesting additional time to research the city's statutory authority in this matter.
Alderwoman Prunty?
Could you explain what you mean by that? Because I thought you were following the state statute.
Yes.
Director Hammer?
Thank you, Mayor. There is an issue that I'm requesting additional time to look into regarding the statutory authority for the city based on the timing of the resignation.
Can you also tell us where you will be looking so we can look there too?
Sure. In the Illinois compiled statutes, and I'm happy to have a further discussion with you offline as well.
So, okay. I'm sure I will have other questions. Thank you very much.
Any other discussion? All those in I'm sorry, Alderman Frost, did you give a time period for your layover? I don't want to misstate.
Well, I was just going to report you, you asked for a motion to 1 week.
Okay. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second to lay the item over for 1 week. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Okay. So that item will be laid over. Next, we'll go to motions and resolutions. We'll go to Planning and Development Committee and Alderwoman Neal.
Item 1, committee recommends approval of the Spaces to Places program, which is intended to reduce commercial vacancies and support small business growth by providing temporary rent assistance for new and expanding businesses. The city will reimburse security deposits and 50% of rent for up to 12 months for a total funding level of up to $20,000 per business. The program will have $300,000 designated from 2026 and 2027 casino funds.
Thank you. Council, one item before you. Is there any discussion on that one item? Alderwoman Tarina.
Thank you, Alderman Bell. Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a question regarding how did we arrive to the $300,000?
Director Lyles.
Sorry, the question, how did we arrive at 300?
How did we arrive at $300,000?
So we have 5 business districts, and we're aiming this first year to be in those 5. So if we did 3 projects per 5, that's $300,000.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion on the item before you? Clerk, could you, or Alderman Bell?
Thank you. Do you happen to have the list of those 5 business associations that you're referring to?
Director Lyles?
Yes, the River District, Miracle Mile, North End, Swift, and Midtown.
Okay. I do know there's a coalition of business owners in the 13th Ward that are organizing a 13th Ward Business Association, and so would love to, for that business association to be considered once established. I believe in the next 30 to 60 days they should be up and running. I too had a concern on the $300,000 amount using 2026 and 2027, or I shouldn't say I too. I had a concern using 2026 and 2027 casino funds. I understand how you all broke down that $300,000. I see this as more of a pilot program to see what works, what doesn't work, and then maybe staff can go back to the drawing board for next year. I personally, in last week or 2 weeks ago when we were at City Council, I think made the same statement. I'd like to see this cut in half at $150,000. I did not have time to talk to you all, but just wanted to put that out there to see if there was any interest in from any of my colleagues to maybe cut this in half to try this as a pilot program.
Is there any further discussion? Alderman Thunberg.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say thank you to Administrator Cagnoni and Director Lyles on this. We did have a conference call, a Zoom call with 2 individuals, John Feldt from RLDC and Nate Jordan from SBA. I think those 2 provided valuable input. I think that on the city side, it is well intentioned. I will be supporting this, but I think going forward, I would like to see, and I think we all agreed and on that as well, to include these other entities in the conversations going forth. As the alderman of the 13th Ward stated, possibly a pilot program. I think we'll find out there's kinks to be worked out and some revisions to be made to this program as it stands now. So I would again like to encourage the conversation to continue with these 2 entities who do have quite a bit of experience working with our businesses locally. So thank you.
Thank you. Other discussion, Alderwoman Meeks.
Thank you so much. I have a question for Director Lyles. So I just want to get specific with a business that is currently in my ward, and so the business owners own it now. They have someone that's working inside the business, and they are looking to retire. And so they would like to see the current employee become the next business owner. And so they're looking at swapping out a different location and then moving forward that way. And I know there were some restrictions on current businesses and moving locations, and I just kind of want to get a clear understanding if a business like this would be able to do something like that if they had a totally new owner that was taking control of the business and moving that forward.
Director Lyles.
So the intention of the program was definitely to be a year 1, as mentioned by other, like to try another solution. We've tried multiple in the small business space, but to continue to build that portfolio. And we really were thinking of spaces that are empty and how can we move something into those spaces, right? So we'd have to sit with this business and see what we weren't trying to steal from other places necessarily, right? We weren't trying to go down one place and have a different vacancy let something else become vacant with this program. Does that mean, like, we weren't trying to move, we were trying to add? So there might be a different way we could support that business, and probably I would ask that we like sit down with them and work with and see if there's a different way we can help them with that transition. And try and keep this program to be adding and filling in vacancy spaces rather than creating one. That's, if I heard you right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I understand. And I did hear North End in the, yeah, okay. That's all I wanted. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alderman Bell?
Do you want to? Thank you. I guess two things, and Alderman Bonnie wants to ask the second. That's fine. Director Haggerty, do you know how much we have in the corridor signage fund left over?
Director Haggerty?
I don't, but I can look that up and get an answer for you.
Okay. And then I believe, unless you want to come, I believe 2 weeks ago, Alderman Bonnie asked for a list of the activity from our current programming. I didn't receive that correspondence, but I didn't know if maybe it was sent to him.
Director Lies?
I do have it, so I can send it right now.
Or maybe
I'll just give you. I'll give you summation. So we
Yeah.
we did the commercial corridor property revitalization program. There were 7 different corridors identified in that. We processed 46 pre-applications out of those. There were then 35 moved into full applications. Only 14 moved into projects. 2 of those projects are complete. 12 are still in progress. So that's 14. And then in the TIF 50/50s, which again, that's where we have 8 TIF zones that were included in that program. We processed 36 pre-applications, which moved into 19 applications. And of that 19, 10 moved into the project stage. 4 of those 10 are complete, 6 are still in process.
Thank you. And then any update on the business advancement grant and the activity with that, or where we currently are?
Sure. So we are agreement to do it. There was some streamlining that the legal department wanted to do. Because we had a change in staffing there, and they realized they could probably make some parts of that a little better, a little easier to understand. So I believe they've completed that template, and we were just having it reviewed because that is funded by CDBG. So we just had to have the regulatory requirements. Just anytime we redo it, we just want to make sure we've covered it enough with the regulatory side. And I believe they met on that last week. So the businesses that are going to be awarded should be getting that agreement soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Haggerty?
Yes.
Do you have that number for me?
I do not. No. I will. It will take a little bit. We have funds committed but not spent, so it's not I can't just pull the number out of our financial system quickly. So I can get you a number, but it won't be this evening.
Okay, I just asked, so I can't recall, honestly. I believe the project that, here's what I think, and I could be totally wrong. When the senior center was proposed months ago, maybe in January or February, I believe that we were going to take from the corridor signage program, 250,000, 300,000, I forget what it was. So I didn't know if those funds were already committed. I'd like to see us pull from a different line item here instead of the 2026, 2027 casino funds. That's why I brought that up. Thanks.
Mr. Cagnoni?
So Alderman Bell would be correct. When we had the senior center proposed months ago, it did utilize the funds that was designated for commercial corridor signage, but I believe that was identified source of a different funding agreement that has taken place since then. But we can certainly work with Director Haggerty to see if there's other opportunities for funds that are unspent, but I think most of those have been committed at this point in time.
Okay. And then,
other than casino funds.
Thank you. Then last one, Mayor. Should this be approved 2026 and 2027, do you know how much we would have remaining in those two years for casino funds if this goes through?
Director Haggerty.
Sorry. And feel free to move. I think someone else had their hand up. We can come back to me.
Between the 2026 and 2027 funds committed for economic development, with what has been approved so far and what's up for consideration, we would have 800,000 remaining between the 2 years.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Alderman Frost.
I mean, no disrespect to staff, but I mean, this desperation to fill up storefronts throughout different parts of the city that maybe need help is somewhat good, but I just feel like we're really bending over backward. We're waiving a security deposit for a business. I mean, maybe we should just buy their products and give them out for free to our residents, because if you can't afford your security deposit, you really ought to reevaluate your business plan. And I mean, I don't even know if there's a list of folks that are, you know, lining up at City Hall trying to ask for a retail front. But if I'm just concerned with you know, paying the entire security deposit and half rent for up to a year. I mean, this money's going to get blown through, and then I don't need a pilot program on how to lose money. I mean, we're not a bank, we're not venture capital, we're not a private equity, we're the city. And if anyone around here, I'm sure, has been paying attention, we've been told about our substantial deficit that we're going to be facing in a short order. 3 of us have been asked to join a financial task force where we're looking around the room at different department heads, and the question is going to become is, where do we cut? So, like, I know that these are casino funds, and based on what I just heard, that the 2 of them only have $800,000, they can be used for other things. And I'm going to vote no, because I just truly feel this is not an appropriate and prudent use of $300,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Other discussion? Alderman Beach.
Thank you. I was going to follow along with similar questions. When you say casino funds, my assumption is the $7 million that's to be given to us each year.
Accurate.
So with the question of 800,000, have we used up all but 800,000?
No, they're talking about the economic development portion.
All right. That's what I want to get cleared. Can we get a list of all the projects that right now have been committed to be funded from the casino? The
Yes.
$7 million funds. That's ongoing, or what the limit is, a year, 2 years, 5 years, or perpetual. I'd like to know what that is.
We can easily do that for you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Alderman Bonney, then Alderman Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with the 4th Ward Alderman on this, but also from the perspective of another item that's on the agenda tonight regarding the public library's proposal. I don't like in addition to do these businesses, are they too weak to even be opening, and the threshold for providing them support is so low? I have to wonder if part of the problem we have with vacant property isn't the owners. You know, it's the rents are too high and the sales prices are too high. And it's, you know, in the case of the item that's coming up on the agenda after this, you know, again, it's an out-of-state owner. I know there's been a lot of people talking about the library, you know, putting the mobile library in the property on East State Street while it fills a vacant building. Well, maybe, and it's been on the market for 300 days. Well, maybe it's been on the market for 300 days because it's overpriced. And the owner is not a local business person. But I think that, and in light of budget issues that we know are just around the corner, we need to, I think, take a closer look at programs that, you know, might have sounded good, 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago. I also, just to clarify, I know Director Lyes just emailed the information I asked for 2 weeks ago, but I don't think I received it. I think Alderman Bell is correct. I would have liked to have had that before tonight. I just think that we should maybe probably, we can vote that, we can always bring this back another time if we think it makes more sense later. But I think for now, we should not approve this.
Thanks. Other discussion? Alderman Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to just recommit my commitment to this. I think that if we could go down to $150,000 and launch it as a pilot, we can gather information to see if it works or not. I think, it's important to continue investing into our small businesses. This council has approved funding over the years to support our small businesses, specifically women and minority-owned businesses through Think Big and with support from the SBDC and RLDC. So I think the partners are great, and I've had conversations. Certainly much needed, have had conversations with Director Lyes, so appreciate you for that. I just think, looking at taking from another pot of money would be more, ideal for me. But I see this program as a bridge to success for our small businesses. And so that's why I'll be supporting this today. I hope that this program is successful, and I look forward to continuing to build the coalition up in the 13th Ward so we can fill our vacant storefronts. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Thunberg.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate everyone's comments here on council. Some of the same concerns were of mine as well. And we addressed those quite transparently through our meeting. I too can fully understand the concerns on this as well. I wouldn't be opposed to, well, let me ask this. Director Lyes, would there be a significant burden to this program if we went from 300,000 down to 150?
Director Lyes.
Well, first of all, 160 would be great just to keep the 20 level and not end up with extra money. Money left, but that would be great. So, we've been open about the fact that we want to do a year one, and we want to assess what's happening on these properties. We'll work with the 160, we work with the 300,000. To Alderman Tarina's question, we gave you sort of a philosophy of how we came up with the number, is to try and aim for around 3 in each of the active districts. I can tell you, we sent our intern to look at all of the districts and what sort of empty spaces they could see and take pictures and catalog, like which ones might be more ready, which ones, what districts have. She found in River District there were 12 things that she could catalog. Miracle Mile 22, North End 11, Swift 13, Midtown 33. So it's a lot of vacancies, and there's to do 3 in each didn't seem like a huge lift or a huge ask when you think of it that way. Now I get that you're looking at it financially, But those numbers and that amount of vacancies, we thought we would just start having the conversation, start figuring out what's going on with all those spaces. And this would be a great tool that gets some businesses some help and gets us in those doors, and we start figuring out what's going on. I understand the other concerns that have been brought up about investment, and that we were aiming this in, I guess the way I would say it, is sort of the way that we want to make the businesses successful. We also need to show the spaces. And so when we're trying to move the needle and tip things towards productivity, we sometimes have to demonstrate to the current businesses that are looking at our area, and then future ones, that activity is happening and progress is possible, and that these spaces work. So this program is meant to, as we talked, Alderman Tuberg, really get people to look at the spaces and think about them more productively, and try and get that conversation going. We have a lot of vacancies, and so this is, again, our start. We'll start with 160. Would love to start with 300,000, but we'll start either way.
Thank you.
Is there where this stands right now, if I made a motion for layover on this, I just need a second on this as of right now?
It's been laid over, so you would need a majority of council. You need 8 votes.
Okay. Yes, again, I would emphasize, I think it's very important in bringing those other individuals into the conversation. I think it was able to answer quite a few questions, but also give some direction on where this could go in the future going forth. We do private and public partnerships quite a bit. And yes, I think the points here have been made very clear and justified in what may look like a giving away money to businesses that have the potential to fail once that money is pulled back. I don't want to see that. None of us want to see that. So I think if we can take a layover so individuals can ask more about this program, I think would make sense. Thank you.
Is that a motion?
Yes, please. I would like to make a motion.
We have a motion. We have a
this
second
over.
to lay over this item. Is there any discussion on the layover? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
No.
Logeman.
No.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Torina. Prunty. Neal. Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
No.
10 ayes, 4 noes.
Excellent. Next, that item's been laid over. Next, we'll go to Code and Regulation Committee and Alderman Logeman.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 4 items in front of us. Item number 1, committee recommends approval of a request from the Traffic Commission for the City of Rockford to approve the installation of a street light near 2415 Quincy Circle. Item number 2, committee recommends approval of the 815-day block party. The event is scheduled for Saturday, August 15th. The location of the event is 100 block of North 1st Street, and the event time is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Item number 3, committee recommends approval of Polish Fest. This event is scheduled for Sunday, August 16th. The event will be held on the grounds of the St. Silancis Casca Church, located at 201 Buckby Street, and the event time is 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Item number 4, committee recommends approval of the PCI Employee Picnic. This event is scheduled for Tuesday, September 15th. The location of the event is 4545 Assembly Drive and will take place during open business hours. Assembly Drive will be closed from Research Parkway to Airport Drive during the picnic. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Council, 4 items. Please don't lay over Polish Fest. I want pierogies. Any discussion? 4 items. Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Torina. Prunty. Neal. Hoffman. Granite. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 14 ayes.
Next, thank you. Next, we're going to go to Finance and Personnel Committee. Alderman Frost.
Thank you, Your Honor. Number one, the committee recommends approval of a plan of acquisition of 4100 East State Street by the Rockford Board of Library Trustees. Number two, the committee recommends approval of award of bid for demolition water material dump site to N-Track in a combined estimated annual amount of $100,000. It's a one-year contract with 4 possible annual extension options. Annual price adjustments will be reviewed and considered at contract renewal only. The funding source is the Water Operating Fund. Number three, the committee recommends approval of award of bid for citywide drainage repair package to DPI Construction in the amount of $113,879.46. The contract is through October 2nd, 2026, and the funding source is the CIP General Fund. Number four, the committee recommends approval. I'm sorry, did I skip one? No. The committee recommends approval of the award of bid for citywide sidewalk and ADA repair package number 2 to TCI Concrete in the amount of $440,806.15. The contract duration is through September 18th, 2026, and the funding source is the 1% infrastructure sales tax. Number five, the committee recommends approval of award of bid for Head Start and Early Head Start child care meals to Delicious Unlimited in an amount not to exceed $100,000. It's a one-year contract with 4 possible one-year extension options. Annual price adjustments will be considered for CPI will be considered contract renewal only. The funding source is the Head Start grant funds. Number six, the committee recommends approval of an award of joint purchase contract for squad car cameras to Axon Enterprises in the amount of $71,318.41. This is a one-time purchase, and the funding source is the police department operating budget. Number seven, the committee recommends approval of the 5th supplemental indenture resolution regarding the industrial project revenue bonds for Wesley Willows Project Series 2011. Number eight, the committee recommends approval of the grant-funded subrecipient agreement with Comprehensive Community Solutions in an amount not to exceed $30,359.45. The agreement periods from July 1, 2026 to March 31, 2027, if approved. Number nine, the committee recommends approval and acceptance of the Office of the Attorney General, State of Illinois Fiscal Year 2027 Organized Retail Crime Grant Award in the amount of $100,000. It does not require a cost match. The grant term is from July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2027. I place these 9 matters before you.
Thank you. Council, we have 9 items before us. Any discussion on those 9 items? Alderwoman Meeks.
Thank you so much. Director Haggerty, I was just curious if item number 7, if there were similarities to item number 7 to the casino bonds. Are these similar bonds in any way?
Director
I know
Haggerty.
this is the amendment to it, but.
Director Haggerty.
So no, industrial revenue bonds are very different from a bond that is issued by the city for city purposes. These are sort of federal development tools that are allocated based on geographic region. So certain communities have an allotment that they're allowed to approve. The end user of the bonds needs the city to approve them, but ultimately we have no long-term debt obligation. The business is fully on the hook for those.
Right. Okay. That's where I saw I was trying to make the connection to with the casino. We don't really, but we will own.
Correct.
So that would be the biggest difference.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Any discussion on those 9 items? Alderman Bonner.
Thank you. Regarding item 1 that we laid over last week, Alderman Beach, myself, and Alderman Prunty met last week with the director and president of the library board, as well as the past president. And while I appreciate that the library leaders think that they are doing what's in the best interest for the library system, and they may be with this purchase, I don't think it's in our best interest as aldermen for the city. And again, it goes back to the same argument that we had over the U-Haul property just up the street, which is that if we want to preserve State Street as a retail corridor, we can't keep approving non-retail uses. And similar to the case with U-Haul, where it would have been, had we approved that, it would have been not generating sales tax, because most of their business would have been rental. In this case, we'd be taking property tax out of the equation as well. Now, granted, wherever the library stores its mobile vehicles, there won't be, the library wouldn't be paying a property tax regardless. But the leaders that we met with walked us through how they, other locations that they considered that they determined to be unsuitable, but I just find it very difficult to believe that there aren't a number of possibilities in areas that are commercially zoned or even industrially zoned that are not in important retail areas. And I also I don't like to try to gauge public opinion based on social media, but I did share this Sunday night, and find that humorous, Alderman Bell?
I do.
Thank you. It did seem to generate a significant amount of agreement that this wasn't a great idea versus the few who thought it was. And I thought it was notable that among those people who disagreed with the library's plan were the former county administrator and former city administrator, who referred to it as a horrible idea. And I just think we need to, people want to quickly say, well, it's vacant. It's been on the market, as I said earlier, it's been on the market for 300 days. Well, we are hopefully close to having a much better proposal, or much better project go into the former Kmart property at State and Mulford, because we did the hard thing. We played hardball. We said no, and now we're hopefully going to see a global market that adds a lot more to the quality of life in the area than U-Haul would have. And in this case, again, the mobile library services are great, but the vehicles could be stored in any number of places that aren't in a important retail district in the city of Rockford. And I just think we have to take that chance again, that the property sits vacant a while, maybe a little longer, and maybe the out-of-state owner lowers the asking price, and maybe a business that would actually help draw shoppers, or if it were, say, even an auto repair place, people who need service to the area, versus this, which won't do that. Thank you.
Are you? Okay, sorry. Other discussion on Alderman Bell, Alderman Frost?
Thanks, Mayor. Have we tried offering space within maybe city yards or any other garage properties that we have?
We have reviewed we've reviewed it 2 different locations. One was, that I'm aware of, one was Fran Crawl site. We also reviewed locations out at city yards. None of them would meet the need that they have.
Thank you.
Alderman Frost.
Thank you. So, I don't know if anyone's been by this building, but it used to be a mobility business that modified cars and vans for handicapped folks. And I'm looking at the listing for the building. It has 5 doors on it that are commercial-sized doors, and then an office spot that's probably maybe 100 square feet. So when someone talks about like this being some and comparing it to Kmart, which I think it's completely not in comparison on, way different deal. This property is not asking for a special use purpose. It's a property that's been listed for sale by the owner of the building, and the buyer just happens to be the library. So like I said last time, I have a hard time with, I know statutorily we have to approve this based on Illinois statute, which requires the city to approve, I think, capital purchase for the library. But, I mean, it's been for sale for a year. The only viable use of this building literally would be like an auto repair shop, because that's probably what it may have been a Midas shop before mobility, but it has 5 doors on it. It's not like this building's like someone's gonna come, and especially in light of what we've heard now, the Miracle Mile has all these vacant buildings on it already that may properly work for a retail spot. This just isn't a building for some retail operation at all. And frankly, it's really not even on East State Street. The address may be that, but it's on the side road. I think it's called Linmar. I'm not sure what, but it's the east-west road that runs from Murray Drive up to State Street, Morrissey Drive up to State Street. So, I mean, it's not as if a dental office is going to go in here and renovate it. I mean, it would cost, triple what they're asking for the square footage for the building. So, I mean, I am in favor of it because it meets the needs of the library. It falls within their budget of buying it, and they have a library out east. They have a library on Montague. They have the main library, and none of those buildings support their vehicles, and this is kind of a little bit in the middle, and it allows them to quickly have a barn somewhere that's accessible for all of their stops and what they use it for. And I disagree that this is going to be developed. I mean, like, again, we just heard tonight, what was it, 33, the Miracle Mile led the list provided by Director Lays on with respect to vacant properties. And here you have someone that's, I mean, we're really querying a deal in a private market. It's not like, it doesn't require a special use permit. It doesn't require a change in zoning. So you have a seller and a buyer, and they've agreed on the price. And I think we're really overstepping our bounds to queer this deal. Thank you.
Alderwoman Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say we have some really cool places in town that used to be car repair places, such as the Ford Car. And we really enjoy having the garage doors. So saying that there's garage doors doesn't mean it couldn't be a restaurant, couldn't be a coffee shop, couldn't be another pub. So there are things that can be done. Remember, a Ford Car. Yes.
Alderman Beach.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm thinking when Barnes & Noble left East State Street a number of years ago, and sales tax about $500,000 a year times years, that we could use that money now. And representing the Miracle Mile and the effort that I've seen them put in to try to close the gaps of all places. The bank, the old bank right across the street from this place, has been sitting empty for several years, and probably will sit there for a while more. But there will be a bank or some other business come in there and fill it up and make it useful. And so I've seen systematically over the years the Miracle Mile associations fill these places up. And I have to tell you, I was at that meeting along with Alderman Pondy and Alderman Bonnie. But one of the things that just really just bothered me, I shouldn't even probably say it, but when a comment was made, well, the tax was only $9,200 a year, that really upset me. Because the $48 million that we get in property taxes is made up of the 3,200s and the 9,000s and the 50,000s, etc. Every single piece of property taxes is meaningful to us as a city. So that kind of did bother me a little bit. And I get what Alderman Frost is saying about this. I can appreciate that. But just because there's not something today after 300 days doesn't mean that something won't be found, because our people go out looking for places to put businesses. So, as you know, you need to vote however you need to vote on it, but I certainly can't support it at this time.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Alderwoman Meeks?
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say that it was maybe 2 years now. It's been a while when I went on a tour with some Rockford Public Library board members to view some locations in my ward to start finding a location for this for these mobile units. So I'm actually really happy they finally found a place that they're settled down in. And the only question that I have is, will there be the Rockford Public Library and logo that will go on the building?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make that comment. They've been looking for a really long time, so I just want to say that I'm happy they found the spot.
Yeah, I can just attest to the length. I also spoke, I think I spoke with you at that time, also spoke with previous Director Stainbrook numerous times about it as well. Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you. So I think Alderwoman Hoffman makes a good point about the 5 doors is not necessarily an impediment to a creative, adaptive reuse of the space. The total projected cost of this purchase and renovation is $1.25 million, $900,000 going to renovate it with its 5 doors for the proposed use by the library. So the building's not in great shape, and it needs a lot of work no matter who's going in there and how it's being used. I have not been told this directly, but I believe Alderman Beach stated at the meeting we had with the library that the Miracle Mile is association is officially opposed to this. The alderman for the ward, Alderman Beach, is opposed to it. And, it's before us. It may not need zoning, but it's before us for a reason. And we have if we don't have the ability to deny this, then why is it here? And I have to say I object to the second time the use of the term queering the deal. Thank you.
Alderwoman Tarina.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate the discussion around this item, but I guess for me, we've established that city yards is not an option. We've established, I know Director Cagnoni explained to us that multiple sites were explored, but it has to go somewhere. So it doesn't matter where it goes in the city, it's gonna be off the tax roll. So unless they go to Belvedere, it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we're just keep talking about something that it's gonna have to go somewhere at some point. And I think they found a suitable place because it wouldn't matter if it's in the 5th ward, it doesn't matter if it's in the 10th ward, it's still gonna be a property off the tax roll. Thank you.
Alderman Thunberg.
Thank you, Mayor. The 5th Ward Alderwoman stole my show there. Yeah. And just saying that there has been other sites looked at, and if there is a entity or a structure like this within the city of Rockford, it's going to come off the tax rolls anyways. It is off of East State, and it is in an area that has had some issues in the recent past, and I think it's been up for a year, and it's been vacant for a year. And I know for a fact, and Mayor, both you and I frequented a business there that has moved out.
Now you got me concerned. Which business?
Nice haircut.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
So, but yes, and there is a dental office right down the street there that has had some issues. So, I mean, for a building like this, it is, I appreciate Alderwoman Hoffman. I thought that was coming up on the 8th Ward Pub. I don't know how the 10th Ward alderman would feel about a pub going in there, but you know, I thought of the same exact thing too. So I've seen where that has been converted. But looking at this, it is just set up for that reason. I think it would be hard to repurpose that, considering what the 14th Ward alderman said about the costs involved in doing that. Now put that into the private sector and have someone come up with that kind of money for a building that just, again, is just designated for what it is. And so, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments on the 9 items before us? Clerk, please, or Alderwoman Prunty, is that a hand up?
Yeah.
Okay, Alderwoman Prunty.
Thank you. We had Director Lyons identify over 20 sites. Is that information available to the library? Because I know that I heard too at our meeting that they had driven around the city and I identified one and Alderman Bonnie identified 2. So maybe there needs some more options.
Director Wise.
So the numbers I was quoting earlier were specifically about retail spaces for, you know, a business to move in. Not necessarily like something for vehicle storage, but several people have made the point they have been looking for quite a while. They have made inquiries on different properties. They've gotten different answers on either price, what it would work, all those different things. So they have made a lot of effort. If for some reason this property doesn't, we will continue to work with them because they need to store those vehicles. They're an essential resource in our community, and we'll continue to find that location. But the numbers that I said to you earlier were specifically in those 5 business districts, vacant spaces they had for retail or different businesses to move in, not necessarily vehicle storage.
Not necessarily, because I know that one of the things that they were hoping for was office space as well. So, okay, thank you. And then, I had a question about number 9.
Okay.
It says that this $100,000 would be used towards the annual subscription. What is that? I mean, it's only partial. What's the annual subscription?
Chief Fred?
Did I miss that?
We've already approved that contract. This is stating that we've received a grant and telling you where a portion of those dollars would go.
Oh, okay.
You've approved that maybe 4 months ago-ish?
Yes.
Okay, and so, yeah, so how, can I still know what the full payment is?
Yeah, we can get you the number. I don't know if.
I don't have
knows
it off the top of my
their
head, but,
okay.
yep.
All right.
But we can absolutely, we'll send you back the staff memo from that evening that'll outline all of the costs.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bonnie?
Thank you. Sorry to go back to number 1 again, but I believe Alderwoman Prunty in the meeting that we had also, you had cited a possible location in your ward, in the 6th ward, and there seemed to be some lack of clarity by the library leaders about whether there had been definitive conversations with the school district about the transportation, their transportation facility on Christina Street, which, you know, is quite large, and we're only talking about housing 3 library vehicles. And to me, again, it comes down to Miracle Mile are the invested business owners in this stretch of State Street, and they are opposed to it. The alderman for the ward is opposed to it. I think that, you know, we're not listening to the people who are directly impacted, and that it just seems unfathomable that the library, that there are not other suitable locations across Rockford when we just got finished talking about all the vacancies. So I think we need to really look at who we're listening to here.
I can add that I can't speak, and I will not speak for Mr. Cortez and his administration and staff. I can speak to previous director, Lynn Stainbrook. I actually connected them to Rockford Public Schools prior to her departure, and I know that they reached out because truthfully, I had many of the same concerns that all of you did. I didn't want to take a property off. We looked at really long vacant properties in Alderwoman Meeks area, as that was after we looked at the city, I believe the county, the school district, many of the public bodies. I can't speak to if they've looked at and had discussions very recently, but to answer, I know they have had discussions with the school district in the past. Alderman Frost.
Thank you. And I appreciate, Your Honor, you mentioning all those different governmental entities that already don't pay tax, but the crux of this argument is really that if we're going to lose tax on this building, as Alderman Trina pointed out, it doesn't matter what ward or where this particular, garage barn is going to go. It's going to be off the tax rolls. And it was mentioned about the bank building next door that's been vacant for a number of years, and I believe it was this council or some on the council that voted to approve putting a senior center in that building right next door. And if you all recall, there was some sort of glitch with the contract with that senior center, and it seems that it's reared its head back on the agenda tonight, which I will definitely be voting no on. But there are many people here that voted yes and had no strong opposition on putting that senior center in that vacant building. And just one last thing, the fact that Alderman of the 14th Ward brought up how dilapidated this building is, that's why it's not selling. Who's going to put $900,000 into a building listed for $300,000? So you have $1.2 million for a 5-garage building with 100 square foot of space in it. So, that's why it's sitting empty, and that's why there's no offers on it, because nobody wants the building, because no one's going to put the money into it. At least we have someone, I know it's not to get back on the tax rolls, but it's going to vastly improve this building and this site, because it's going to be fixed up. So, again, those are my complete reasons for voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you. The only thing I would correct Alderman Frost, you are correct. They did ultimately end up, the senior center looked at that building and others. The one that this council approved was a large space on State Street, just several blocks of it. Other questions and concerns on the 9 items before us? Alderman Bell.
Never mind.
Okay. Other discussion on the 9 items? Alderman Salgado.
Yeah, just real quick, Mr. Cagnoni, do you think can you help us understand how the Rockford Public Library operates? They're coming before us as a approval for this purchase of this property. Are they in an independent body they have their own board that makes these decisions, look at financially whether they have the means to finance this and so forth? I just want to get an understanding of that, because I think Alderman Frost, hit it on the nail. I think we're overreaching here from my perspective. I do understand that there's frustration or that it's a not-for-profit governmental site that is not going to pay taxes on it from that perspective. So I just wanted to see if you could maybe give us a quick summary of how that operates and why it's before us, and from that perspective.
Mr. Cagnoni?
Should I just directly defer to the legal director?
Yep.
There's a state statute that would be better discussed or explained by our legal director. I'm familiar with it, but I'll defer to her.
Director Amber?
Thank you, Mayor. The Illinois Local Library Act requires that the library board bring approval of this land acquisition before the corporate authorities for approval. And the library board has already approved the financing and purchase price and so forth, and it's attached in the packet.
Thank you. Alderman Bell.
Thank you. And was, I think, reference that we're maybe not listening to the people. Just, can you clarify, maybe, Mr. Cagnoni, of that board consists of who? The library board.
Mr. Cagnoni.
So the library board is appointed by the mayor and confirmed by city council and residents of the city of Rockford.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. Aye. Logeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Torina. Aye. Prunty.
No on one. And aye on the rest.
Neal.
No on one, aye on the rest.
Hoffman.
No on one, aye on the rest.
Granith. Beach.
No on one, aye on the rest.
Salgado. Meeks.
No on 9, aye on the rest.
That was no on 9. Thank you. Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
No on 1, aye on the rest.
Number 1, 9 ayes, 5 noes. Items 2 through 8, 14 ayes. Item number 9, 13 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you. Next, we have an item under City Council, and I'll direct that to Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under Roman numeral 11D, I move that the Code and Regulations Committee be discharged from further consideration of the committee report. I think the report number is 2600958, approving a moratorium on data centers and directing city staff to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of best practices for regulating the development, expansion, and operation of data centers within the city of Rockford. Please set up.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Clerk, or Alderman Bell?
Thank you. Can you clarify what we're motion second, we're voting on his amendment, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Torina. Prunty.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Hoffman.
Aye.
Granith. Beach.
Aye.
Salgado. Meeks. Bell.
No.
11 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to new committee reports. I'll go back to Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Then I move the motion to discharge the committee from further consideration of committee report number 2026-0902, although in our crib sheet it's 00958. So it's probably an old, right? So.
Director Hammer?
Thank you, Your Honor. The item up for motion now is the actual committee report.
Okay.
So it is the 902
Thank
item.
26-00902 be adopted.
Thank you. We have one item before us. Is there any discussion on that one item? Alderman Bell?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd love to hear from the second ward alderman as to maybe his reasoning for bringing this forward 2 to 4 weeks ago.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Alderman Logeman.
Yeah, I think I'm a believer in incrementalism. I don't know that that's too popular of a position these days, but you know, I think all these discussions that we've had among us and with city staff, between the mayor and myself and administrator and myself, also aldermen with city staff. You know, I think we're trying to build kind of a comprehensive policy to address data centers. I know we hear it all the time from constituents, so that was kind of the genesis of the proposal going forward, and I think directing city staff to move forward with best practices and a temporary moratorium, it's a good incrementalist policy as we try to develop policies as far as a city, because I know that, you know, I'm sure all of us keep hearing from our residents about this very important issue that's confronting our city. So that was a little bit of the genesis of that. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Other Alderman Bell?
Thank you to the second ward alderman for sharing with us. I voted no on the discharge, the motion to discharge the Code and Regulation Committee. Second ward alderman chairs that committee. When this was first brought up, unfortunately was absent, so we didn't have a second. I'm assuming as he proposed this, he probably would have been the second. We could have had discussion and moved it forward. Procedurally, how we normally do. This is at least my first time seeing that there was a motion to discharge a committee from their actions or normal procedures. I know that this is still ethical or legal, but just wanted to make clear that I voted no because I believe that this should be a committee level discussion. But I'll leave it right there. Thank you.
Thank you. Other reports, Alderman Logeman?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Mayor. I think, you know, it's important too if we pass this, you know, any one of us can add to it or take from it, but I think this is just like a good base level policy as this, I'm certain this discussion is going to continue, and yeah, I see this as a team effort among city staff, mayor's office, all the aldermen, to kind of drive this policy discussion as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. The reason why I made this motion is quite simply a lot of what you're hearing before the council from public, Facebook, is actually old information. It's like trying to assess a 1962 exhaust system in a 2026 car. The technology over data centers and how they're working is evolving. Currently, there's chip level cooling, rack level cooling. They are using closed loop cooling with dielectric fluids that have low boiling point and thus lower condensation points to cool them. The noise levels that you're hearing, they don't exist. Elk Grove Village, where I grew up, is working on 20 of them. You can drive in front of any of them, roll down your window, and try hearing them. So the cooling technology, the noise technology, the energy use won't go away, but all these technologies that have been in question they're moving parts. Microsoft 2 weeks ago in Wall Street Journal indicated that they were coming up with a pure air-cooled chip. So they don't want to spend a lot of money on water. They don't want to spend a lot of money on power. They're in business to make money, not to lose it on expenses that they can control. So the reason I supported Alderman Logeman's motion is so that city staff and others can look through the evolving technology and develop policies that are best practices. To come up with something now, an ordinance now, to restrict certain parameters makes no sense, because the technology that will be here in a year may be vastly different. It is already evolving. So I think it's important that we take a look and see what the industry is doing and get some ideas and then craft how we'll approach it. There's no hurry to come up with an ordinance for restricting the use. Thank you, Your Honor.
Further discussion, Alderman Bell.
Thank you. This will be two things, and we may need to take a vote. I didn't see a time frame, so I'll make a motion to amend to include the moratorium for 180 days from tonight's vote. to include the moratorium to last 180 days.
There's a motion.
And really quick, and if this is out of procedure, I understand.
If you give me,
Sure.
or,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you asked your second
Yep,
question.
I just want to say, when I was doing some research, Aurora also had a 180-day
They did.
moratorium. So that's why I brought that number forward.
Thank you. Mr. Cagnoni? Or Director, no, not you, Mr. Cagnoni. Director Hammer.
Thank you, Your Honor. The draft before City Council for consideration does include a moratorium effective for 180 days.
Perfect, thank you. And then my other thing, sorry, I'd also like to make a motion to amend to include if possible, a standing agenda item on the Community Relations Commission to allow the public to share feedback once this is brought forward. So instead of once the moratorium is done, the information, instead of going to City Council immediately, it would go to Community Relations Commission to have a public hearing, or to allow for the public to have feedback.
So we have a motion. I just want, I'm repeating
Sure.
it so I can make sure I'm getting what you're saying. I think Director Hammer's probably writing it down as I say it. Want the 180 days, it's in there. Would like, when the 180 days is complete and best practices, things of that nature from this item are completed, you would like that to go to Community Relations Commission for a period of 30 days so that the Community Relations Commission can invite the public in to have comment on the findings of item 1.
Correct.
And then it would be released to City Council.
Correct.
Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. We got a lot of hands up, so we have a motion, we have a second. I'm going to go just around the horn. Alderman Durkee.
This has to be cribbed, or no?
Director Hammer, would that amendment need to be cribbed?
Yes, it would need to be in writing.
Okay, so just understand, thank you for that. Understand if Alderman Bell wanted to bring forward that item, could he do it at Monday's committee meeting, or would it go directly to council? How would that work?
I'm not following your question, Your
I'm
Honor.
sorry.
I apologize.
So he would like to amend it, can't do it this evening. If he would like to do that, could he bring it forward to a committee on this Monday if he provides staff the information by Wednesday or Thursday so that you would have enough time to crib up an item for committee?
Yes, we could treat that as a petition and a referral for next Monday's committee meeting, if that is acceptable to Alderman Bell.
Alderman Bell?
Yeah, thank you. We could do that, or we could move this item to the end of the meeting and move forward and allow for our legal director maybe print that up for everybody. Is that possible?
Sure.
So we have one item before us. I need to ask you all permission to move that item to the end. We would literally be taking that vote twice at the end if you look. Do I have anyone who would object to us moving it to the end so that you can have that in writing? Are you objecting or are you asking a question?
Clarification.
Okay, let me ask Alderman Thunberg's clarification, then I'll go to Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you, Mayor. Reading the second word, Alderman's proposal, and I don't have it in front of me, could you confirm or clarify if it was for 180 days or up to 180 days?
One moment, let me pull it up here. Sorry, if you can just bear with me so I make sure I get the right.
Mr. Cagnoni may have it.
The timeline reads, staff shall present its findings and recommendations to the City Council within 180 days of adoption of this ordinance. or as such, additional time as may be authorized by the city council.
Okay, so we have the administration shall produce that within 180 days.
Or council asking for allowing additional time.
Okay. And from what I understand, the 13th Ward Alderman is recommending a 180-day moratorium. Just
The moratorium
itself.
in the document, and I don't want to be speaking for you, so please, Alderman Bell.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm in agreement with the Second Ward Alderman's proposal for the 180 days. The only item, or the only amendment that I'd like to include is for this, for the findings to go directly to the Community Relations Commission and not directly to City Council, allowing for the community to have a community feedback session. Instead of another public hearing here at council, we can send it to the body that we've appointed to give more time for our community to have conversations.
Okay. Alderman Bonnie, you also had a clarifying question?
Correct. So whatever recommendations might come from staff to the council, would the request be for the council to approve referring it as a text commit amendment back to ZBA as we often do? And if so, then public comment could occur at ZBA.
Mr. Cagnoni?
So let me take a step back a little bit just so we don't get, so there's not confusion. There's two specific provisions within the ordinance that are relative to the time frame and the moratorium. One is the timeline that I previously read related to the 180 days of adoption of this ordinance. We should bring our findings and recommendations to City Council. In addition, there's Section 8, which is the temporary moratorium, which is established for 6 months from the effective date of this ordinance. So those are the two timeline provisions directly stated within the ordinance, just for clarity purposes. To directly answer your question, I would anticipate that the recommendations coming forward from staff could be a host of different items, which could include amendments to the Code of Ordinances, the zoning ordinances, as well as the building codes, which all have different public processes required by state statute or other state rules. And many of those would include public hearings related to amendments, but not all of them. If it was the intent of City Council to have additional public meetings of some sort prior to us bringing our recommendations forward, I think that would be identified in scope of evaluation, where you would have some sort of amendment that reflects going to the Community Relations Committee if that was the intent of what is being stated.
So the public hearings that may be required for certain parts of staff recommendations based on state law would be the types of public hearings that we have here at council?
No. So let's say that staff brings forward a number of recommendations and we present those to you. I would anticipate then the next step is that City Council would say, I generally concur or I generally don't concur with your recommendations. If you concur, then you would direct staff to go through the appropriate processes to change the ordinance. So I would see this being a multi-step process to getting to the end. And when we reviewed other communities, that is similar to what they have done. And certainly they all haven't done that. I mean, there's probably no less than 6 counties and 10 municipalities that have moratoriums of some sort or process.
I guess, I'm sorry.
You're good.
But the likelihood that much of this will end up being referred to ZBA as a text amendment change, then to come back to council is high.
I would say it's, I think, you know, the understanding the intent of evaluating best practices, you're going to specifically identify data centers and the regulations for them, which would include the zoning ordinance. So I would anticipate there will be amendments to the zoning ordinance related to data centers directly.
So, I mean, then this would get to debate of Alderman Bell's proposed amendment, but I think the more appropriate place for the public debate to occur and for if any recommendation to council would be from the ZBA and not the Community Relations Commission, since they deal with, I mean, they're here to advise us on zoning items and they are appointed to that commission because they have some sort of expertise, as opposed to the Community Relations Commission, which doesn't.
Thank you. So, Alderman, and before I get to Alderwoman Prunty, right now have been asking if there's anyone who objects to me holding this item till we get through items A and B and C under Roman numeral 12. That will allow time for staff that's going right now to the printer to bring up this amendment. Then we can debate this amendment all over again. Is there anyone who would object to that? Are you objecting to it?
Can I?
First, is there anyone who objects to that? Thank you. Alderman Bell.
Thank you. I think it's been a common theme, at least since I've been on council, to, I think, underutilize the Community Relations Commission, and maybe that's for the next administration or mayor to decide whether or not we're going to keep it, or maybe this council. But at this point, I think Alderman Bonnie has a point that there will be additional public comment opportunities. Should I see fit that we need to maybe bring forth a petition, and sorry, Director Hammer, I may have made you do some extra work there, but I'm going to withdraw my amendment, and we can bring this back at a later date should I see fit the Community Relations Commission needing to be a part of this process.
Okay, you're withdrawing, and I believe Alderwoman Trina, will you withdraw yours? Thank you. Okay. Ooh. All right, guys, we're getting somewhere. We have one item before us. Is there any further discussion on the one item? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman. Aye. Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost. Aye. Torina. Aye. Prunty. Neal. Aye. Hoffman. Aye. Granith. Aye. Beach.
Aye.
Salgado.
Aye.
Meeks. Aye. Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
Aye.
14 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to new business. We'll go to Planning and Development Committee. Alderwoman Neal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 1 is an ordinance approving the funding agreement with Goodwill in partnership with IBEW Local 364 with the Electrical Workers Trades Program to better prepare individuals for IBEW application process in the amount of $85,172. The funding source is casino funds.
Thank you. Council, we have one item before us. Is there any discussion on that one item? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
No.
Logeman. Aye. Toomberg.
No.
Frost. Torina. Aye. Prunty.
No.
Neal.
Aye.
Hoffman.
Aye.
Granith. Beach.
No.
Salgado. Meeks.
No.
Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
Aye.
8 ayes, 6 noes.
Next, we're going to go to Code and Regulation Committee. Alderman Logeman.
Mayor, we have 9 items in front of us. Item number 1, an ordinance establishing a restriction requirement of traffic on Calderwood Drive be required to stop prior to entering the intersection of Palo Verde Drive, thus repealing the existing traffic control of Calderwood Drive yielding to Palo Verde Drive. Item number 2, an ordinance approving a special use permit for 6 residential units on the ground floor in a C4 urban mixed-use zoning district at 134 North Main Street. Item number 3, an ordinance approving a special use permit for residential units on the ground floor in a C4 urban mixed-use zoning district on 325 South Madison Street. Item number 4, an ordinance approving a special use permit for body art services in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 210 North Longwood Street. Item number 5, an ordinance approving a special use permit for a planned mixed-use development consisting of 10 apartments, a restaurant, and a banquet hall in an R2 two-family residential zoning district at 219 South 2nd Street. Item number 6, an ordinance approving a special use permit for body art services in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1010 East State Street. Item number 7, an ordinance approving a zoning map amendment from R1 single-family residential zoning district to C3 general commercial zoning district at 3218 11th Street. Item number 8, an ordinance approving the following text amendments to the City of Rockford zoning ordinances. A, Table 20-1, B, Article 20-005, C, Article 20-005-D, G, D, Table 21-1, E, Article 30, F, Article 35, G, Article 50-003, H, Article 50-016, and 80-003, I, continuance of a non-conforming use. And finally, item number 9, an ordinance approving a modification of an existing liquor license to add packaged liquor sales in conjunction with a restaurant in a C3 general commercial zoning district at 1603 North Alpine Road. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Logeman, sorry for that big pause I gave you. So we have 9 items before you. Understanding, in a previous section of council, Alderman Frost made an amendment from a denial to an approval. That item is not on here. I'd like to move forward with the items that we have on here, and at the very next meeting, or we may have to have a special meeting, I'd like to get that other item approved. I just want you to be aware of it. That's why you don't see it in this list, okay? So we have 9 items before us. Is there any discussion on those 9 items? We have 1 alderman in the audience. Anything? Any discussion on the 9 items before us from any council members inside the chamber? None? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Mogeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
No on 6,
Tarina. Prunty.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Hoffman.
Aye.
Granite. Beach.
No on 9, I am
Salgado.
Aye.
Meeks.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
Aye.
Items 1 through 5, 14 ayes. Item 6, 13 ayes. 7 and 8, 14 ayes. Item 9, 13 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you. We're going to go to Finance and Personnel Committee and Alderman Frost.
Okay. Number 1 is an ordinance approving the slant interagency agreement, and number 2 is an ordinance authorizing the city to utilize funds from the Public Water Supply Loan Program at the Illinois EPA and application of loan for lead service line replacements. I place these 2 matters before you.
Thank you. Council, 2 items before us. Any discussion on those 2 items? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Mogeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Tarina. Prunty. Neal. Hoffman. Granite. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 14 ayes.
Thank you. Alderman Durkee.
Under Roman numeral D1, ordinance approving a moratorium on data centers and directing the city administrator and designees to conduct a comprehensive evaluation evaluation of best practices for regulating the development, expansion, and operation of data centers within the city of Rockford. Place that for passage.
Thank you. Council, one item before us. Is there any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Toomberg.
Aye.
Frost.
Aye.
Torina. Prunty. Neal. Hoffman. Granick. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 14 ayes.
Excellent. And I wanted to stay and just talk. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of adjourning say aye. Those opposed, have a great night.